as I said, we've met, or we will meet so many clones in the show, and we've already met one that we didn't expect to meet until Tuesday in the show already with Cut, but one that we definitely knew we were going to meet even before the trailer, and then when we got the trailer, he was in it, was Rex. And so Rex gets name dropped in this, that he came by and saw Cut a couple days before the Bad Batch landed. And so is Rex going to be the big central focus of the next episode? Are they going to be finding Rex? What do you think is kind of the future of episode 3 for the Bad Batch? And really the only things we haven't seen so far in terms of big characters from the trailers are Rex. We haven't seen Finnick, and we haven't seen the I'm forgetting what those aliens are called, but the aliens from the Slaves of the Republic arc. Those are the only 3 things we haven't seen that were really standouts from the trailer. So that's also exciting because that means we have a lot that we don't know about for the rest of the season, because there's 16 episodes. So even if each one of the next 3 episodes deals with one of those 3 things, there's still plenty to come. But what do you?
Yeah, I would hope that they don't see Rex in the next episode. Um, it's wonderful that he's been name dropped, and it's wonderful that they're, in relative proximity. I think that speaks to the similar thinking, or almost like a procedure that the Bad Batch had in case things went wrong. Seems like that's in part derived from the conversations with Rex and just what they knew about the Republic. Even if they're surprised with how it just went down, I think they all kind of knew that they weren't going to be soldiers forever. Um, yeah, I don't want to see Rex necessarily in the next one. I think the little glimpses that we've gotten from clips that have been released fairly daily at this rate, kind of implies that this is now that they're more civilian based, now that they got fake chain codes, that they're gonna be able to start doing mercenary work. They have the skill set for that. They might not be soldiers, but if they want to be able to make money, stay off the lam, um, and not arise too much suspicion, um, I mean, it does seem like this would be a healthy compromise. How Rex comes into the picture, I mean, from what we've seen in the trailers, like Fennec, right? She's seems to be like someone seems to have placed the bounty already on the Bad Batch, but thus far we know that the Empire has not been notified of their prison break quite yet. At least Tarkin hasn't been, because now let's say is like, yeah, Omega's joined the Bad Batch, and they're like, oh, curious. We'll see how that goes. So not only do they have their own machinations, as we said in our last podcast, probably working. Um, there's also just the figure of like, okay, now we have to figure out more about who Omega is. And now we have to figure out, okay, what about these inhibitor chips that you just name dropped, Omega? What does that have to do with us? Is that something we can do to help Crosshair? How do we get close to him? How do we stay low but also make money? What is our next step? And while this episode was really a transition to like, okay, let's get ourselves stripped from military looks and ideas and servitude from the guy who knows best. Now is like, okay, what do we do next? Now it's really up to us. Um, I don't know how Rex really comes into this, because not only do I not want him right away, but from what we've seen in the images and trailer stuff that we've seen, it seems like he's on Braca or something. So he might become sort of like a boogeyman of sorts, like that they're chasing after. But at some point, maybe they don't even realize, like, okay, is he still alive? Like, we're picking up traces of him, but there's no definite proof that he's been here other than what we heard from Cut. Um, I think the journey to getting to him is going to be much harder unless Rex has left behind specific like directions to cut. And if he's on Braca, then there's a whole thing that does this tie into the Fallen Order with Cal Kestis presumably still on the planet at this point. Um, and then there's a whole question of like, okay, well, Rex is there. What about Ahsoka? Are they still together? Are they split? Is Rex pursuing his own mission and perhaps figuring out and connecting with as many clones as he can to get their inhibitor chips out and let go of the Empire? I don't know. There's so much potential that comes from the Rex name drop, but there also isn't many things in motion to suggest that they're quite on the trail of, getting up to him. And if they do, I think it'll take longer than we'd like. I'd expect him to come around mid-season before anything seriously happens. Um, I'd see more stuff with the mercenary work happening and more things with the Kaminoans. Um, Definitely see things with the remains of the Confederacy and the Zygerians, what part they'll play. We've seen in the clips released that there's a baby Rancor as part of something. So I think the tone of this show is going to be very different for the next few weeks before we get back to like the big ongoing plot.
Yeah, those are good points. I think I'm kind of on the same page with that. I don't think we are getting Rex next week, especially, if we look at the track record of The Mandalorian for the Disney Plus Star Wars shows, pretty much every time they tease something, they make us wait at least 2 weeks for it. So we get the Rex name drop, kind of like we got the Ahsoka name drop in The Mandalorian, and then it was 2 weeks later we got. So I do think next episode will kind of be another one where maybe they need fuel or something. They go back to a Mandalorian cliche. Maybe they need fuel or they need something. They stop at a planet and they're like, "We have no credits. We need to do a job." We have kind of seen that in the clip, as you said, and that's how they're going to end up running into Finnick. Maybe, who knows? But I do think I kind of like the idea of Rex as a boogeyman. That I was kind of thinking the exact same thing. I was thinking he's going to end up finding them. I feel like, and maybe they get in trouble and he comes and he helps them out and then he's like, I need you guys for something, brings them to Raqqa or wherever he is going on his missions. He's like, I need you guys' help with this thing I'm doing, or we need to stop maybe the separatists here, or we need to stop the Imperials from doing this here. And I think ultimately that'll lead into the second half of the show.